This is the Flabbergasted Podcast, where we just can't believe you haven't seen it.
Every episode, we discuss a movie that one of us has seen and the other hasn't.
And sometimes that neither of us have seen.
Follow us on Instagram
At Flabberpod.
and subscribe in your podcast app of choice. I'm your host, Jessica.
I'm your host, Rogi. Let's get to it.
Welcome. We are here today to do How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Rogi's favorite type of movie, rom-coms.
Out of all the rom-coms you've seen, how many is that again?
Wow, what a fun game we should play right now. What movies have I seen that you could call rom-coms? We watched while you were sleeping on our honeymoon. And that was a movie that I had previously thought was a horror film based on the title.
Really?
I believe so, yes.
Huh.
I have seen
You saw
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally, good one. Trying to think if I watched any in like the early 2000s.
I'm going to go with 3 because whenever Rachel and I talk about any kind of rom-com, Rogi hasn't seen it. So,
What are the big ones? Miss Congeniality.
Oh, that's such a good one.
I mean, I think that one's less romantic
Failure to
and more
Launch.
comedy.
But it's good. It's pro-woman. So
For sure.
I'm all about it.
But
so.
it's not a rom-com necessarily.
I mean, but there's romance in it.
You've Got Mail.
It's a subplot.
I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, so 3. This is your third rom-com
It might be.
ever.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Could be.
I just want to set expectations with the
Right.
audience, you know?
My familiarity with the tropes
Yeah.
is low.
I have seen this one. Rogi asked me how many times I'd seen it when we watched it together. And I was like, oh, at least a dozen times. Easy.
I think you said dozens.
No, I didn't say dozens.
I think you said dozens.
No.
And I was like, I've seen Grease dozens of times, and that's it. That's the only movie.
Is Grease a rom-com?
No, Grease is a musical.
Subgenre rom-com?
Grease is a musical adaptation of a Broadway show.
But anyways, so I grew up watching this specifically at a family friend's house I used to babysit for. And so the parents would put the kids to bed, bring me over to be the responsible person watching them. And then they would go over to my parents' house and play games and hang out all night. And then they would come home and not want to drive me home because I was like 11. And so then I would just spend the night, but I would stay up watching movies. And this was one of the rom-com movies that they had that I thought was cute. And so I watched it regularly after.
So you just you're like, oh, look, that looks interesting. Pop it in, watch it.
Yeah. And so then I've definitely watched it like movies when in college, like just putting something on in the background. And so we don't really have TV. We've just got more streaming stuff. So I don't like, if it's on, like I'll watch it. Like it is a conscious choice, but like I have watched it a couple of times since our marriage just for funsies. So yeah.
When did this movie come out?
This was 2003. Yeah, 2003. Directed by Donald Petrie. And it's got our lovely people,
All of them.
Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. And then at the top of it is Adam Goldberg. I think that's the other guy that did the advertising with the one with the beard.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely is.
The T-shirt guy.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the button-up shirt guy.
Yeah. Which I recognize the button-up shirt guy more because he is in 17 again.
I don't know how What's-Her-Face isn't right up there, too. And I feel bad saying that because I can't remember her name right now. Allison?
Oh, yes. Catherine Hahn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Catherine Hahn.
Yeah. So for IMDb, it says an advertising executive and ladies' man to win a big campaign bets that he can make a woman fall in love with him for 10 days. I think that's a poor interpretation of this movie. So another one is one of them is lying, so is the other. It's a battle of wills as Andy needs to prove she can dump a guy in 10 days, whereas Ben needs to prove he can win a girl in 10 days. Now the clock is ticking. The wildly entertaining comedy smash-off is running this irresistible tale of sex, lies, and outrageous romantic fireworks.
That's a more fun description.
I like that one better. The IMDb is heavily on Ben's journey, and it's like, this is a dual journey. Like, come on, get it together.
Well, that's what makes it fun, is that they're both...
Yes, they're both doing it.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to them.
And they both give each other outs that they don't take because they're like,
we got to keep going.
Yeah.
Well, but he doesn't give her, is outs what we would call him giving her? Because an out for her would be getting to stay in the relationship and not act crazy anymore. I guess I don't know what that would look like.
What do you
She
mean?
says all's fair in love and war. True or false? And he says
True.
true. And if he had said false, I mean, this is definitely an interpretation, but I think she would have been like, I got to get a different guy. Because his saying true justifies to her, like.
Yeah, but that's the first night that they meet.
Yeah.
That's not like halfway in. It's like, okay,
No.
if you want to be done with it. I mean, like, I guess
But
she's
then
trying to push him out the whole time.
The second night she does another one. I forget what it is. And he's like, we're good.
At the basketball game.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but there was another one. And he answered in the way that was like, I'm okay with this. And he's only answering that way because he's being
otherwise incentivized to continue
right.
it.
Yes.
Not purely on the basis of logic
being
and
interested.
attraction.
Yeah.
I like for how both of them are trying to advance in their careers, him in advertising and her in writing. And he is cornered into, the sports bro. He's like, that's kind of the section that he's in. And then Andy is the how-to girl, like how, to lose 10 pounds in 7 days and like all this. So they both are kind of pent up into these sections in work. However, through this game and like thing that they try to do, they're trying to break free from that. Like he's trying to dip into the more serious, like the diamond world, jewelry, luxury.
Well, they're trying to break out of their stereotypical rules. Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to get into the
selling nice
to women.
Yeah.
Right, selling diamonds to women. And that's why what are their names? The Judies?
Yeah.
Would normally be the shoo-ins for that.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she's trying to write more politically or like just she wants to branch out.
Serious journalism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do appreciate that the only reason she even takes this like lot, like that what she's trying to do is to like save her friend, because that was kind of how this got brought up at the thing, was because her friend's love life is a hot mess. And she was like, ooh, I don't want this other coworker, writing about her life and everything. So I'm going to figure out a way to do it.
She doesn't want her story about her love life to be considered tragic, but surprisingly upbeat.
Yes. Always upbeat. Always upbeat.
So this is one of the first places. I mean, I understand that we're going to the extremes to make it funny, but I was kind of like, oh, she is going to like play the exact playbook that Kathryn Hahn, like how Kathryn Hahn lost the guy, and it's going to be to kind of show her readers, like when you do this realistic, like somewhat understandable potential thing that many of my readers maybe do. I mean, Kathryn Hahn is saying, well, what do you mean that's crazy? Oh, I didn't even realize. Like,
call him in the middle of the night.
She
and tell
was
him
just
everything
not likable.
ate.
She was sincerely not likable.
Yeah.
But Kate Hudson was being very over the top. Like it quickly was not. It stopped being see women. Like when I started acting like this, it was very straightforward. Like it wasn't going to be regular advice.
Yeah.
It was more of a Mr. Beast video than it was a like actual treatise on like, let's look and see how the way that we act impacts our relationships.
Yeah.
And, whether or not that's sexist. I mean, like the things that Kathryn Hahn were doing aren't like evil necessarily or like completely unacceptable to treat another person that way, but just not attractive. And so trying to show, I mean, her audience is women, right? Trying to show them, okay, well, you can't, this is where this is going to be interpreted as clingy and this is going to be interpreted as overbearing. Whereas it was just like immediately ridiculous stuff. I got this gross tiny dog. It's peeing on all of your things. She's
whoa.
That wasn't the
gross
first thing.
Tiny dog.
Gross tiny dog.
Aw.
That wasn't the first thing.
But it happens very quickly. That's
that's because we're only working with 10 days.
Okay, well, that's the second day.
It wasn't the second day.
I think it was closer to the third day because the first day they meet, the second day they go to the game for the first time. And then I think that's like the third day. But
I was interpreting the second day of her acting crazy.
Yeah.
I was starting on day 2 as the first day of her
crazy
purposely
day.
being crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it became pretty quickly a different thing because she's trying to get him to break up with her on the third day that they'd met, the fourth day. It wasn't like we're easing him into this and I'm making him think, because that would be a more sincere article, right, is like I'm acting normal, but then I start layering in these other behaviors.
These crazy things, yeah. But she does only have 10 days because her editor's like, you have to do this right now. So she has to escalate the timeline. But that's what makes
She's not
it
trying to
not
get him to
realistic.
break up on day 9 or day 8. She's trying to get him to break up on day 4 because she is bonkers in a way that's like all of the other guys, and none of them were like, oh, I wonder, like this seems odd. They're all like, oh, this isn't like, is she on drugs?
All the guys at the poker table are like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So all this to say is that from the very beginning, I was like, oh, I didn't realize this was kind of the premise. Like, we're intentionally investigating what behaviors that a Catherine Hahn woman doesn't realize are annoying or off-putting to potential partners. And it's going to be about that, and then people realizing how they need to change or the way they present themselves or whatever. And it was like, no, it's just what are the craziest things I can do while still technically kind of pretending to try at a relationship. Yeah. So it was just more over the top than, well, I expect it to be over the top. And then I was like, oh, it's not. And I was like, okay, actually, no, never mind. It is.
It is.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really her. I mean, normally in a comedy, I haven't watched that many comedies. Maybe you guys can tell me if this isn't the case. I feel like Kate Hudson gets to do the crazy stuff in a way that sometimes that's a Jim Carrey or Robin Williams before that, or a Chris Farley, right? It's the guys that are hamming it up and doing physical comedy. And I mean, there's a little bit of Matthew McConaughey like getting punched and stuff like that, but he's the straight man.
Yes.
And so that's kind of a reversal of what I feel like I normally see in comedies.
I never put that together before, but I do love that for her because she is very entertaining with all of the weird stuff that she does.
Yeah.
Like her facial expressions, the way she's saying things.
She's snapping between emotions. Like she's getting really sad from something really normal that he says.
Yeah.
She starts crying.
Yeah. I think she is the star of that movie. And Matthew McConaughey is great, but that movie is definitely her movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that like empowering? Is that like, see, women can be the leading comedic role too? Because I mean, how many other movies?
I don't think it's empowering because I think for me, I'm like, that's normal. Obviously, like to me, I already made that assumption. I wasn't actually looking at it.
Okay, true.
Like I wasn't actually looking at it like there's a disparagement there.
Well, maybe let me rephrase. Does that make you appreciate the movie even more? Like, now that I think about it, she is the lead and that is less common. So like, you go girl. I don't know. I don't think the phrase you go girl very often. Is that a thing that women really think?
Sometimes.
Great. Good for Kate Hudson.
I really have just never thought of it that way. But I think a lot of rom-coms are told from the main point of view of the woman, or as a woman, I follow that point of view first and easily.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't.
And I'm just not, like we said, I'm not familiar with the genre. So
also not a woman.
Yeah. I also have never been a woman. Yeah, it's true.
I think if it were like, what's that Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie, like 500 Days of Summer, like that's sort of like the male point of view equivalent of a rom-com.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I haven't seen 500 Days of Summer.
I don't know if I've seen the whole thing actually either or not, but that's kind of like the difference is what I'm thinking.
I've seen it at least once.
So what are your guys' favorite scenes when you think about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Are there scenes that you want my take on or you're interested in my reaction to?
I would like you to tell the audience what you said to me when she asked Ben to go get her a pop at the last 30 seconds of the basketball game that they were at.
It's within 2 minutes of an NBA Finals game. I think I said something like, I just appreciate that you would never like that's the only part that's triggering for me, because that night, the first night they have lobster, there's when they meet and they have lobster, and the second night is at the basketball game. And that's where I thought the movie was going to live, in a sweet spot of realistically, I could see someone being like, hey, I really want this, but can you go get me a pop or whatever? Like, but that's what triggered me. I was like, you got to be kidding. You can leave. Like, this is not
that's
happening
not
right
okay.
now. Because it's clearly something that's so important to him.
Right.
And so
they
if
are
she
both
doesn't,
very passionate.
Yeah, right. And so that it makes even less sense that she wouldn't understand and appreciate how important that is to her. And because she doesn't want to leave either. And so she's then assuming that he cares about it less than she does, which she doesn't sincerely think that. I know that all that's true, but I was like, I just appreciate that you would never, it wouldn't even cross your mind to ask me to go get you a root beer with 2 minutes left at a finals game that we're in, of any basketball game, really. That's close.
And then when he came back and she was like, it's not diet. He was like, no, like, absolutely not. Like, he's like, I can't. No.
You don't need diet. You're not fat. Like, you just be like, it's fine.
I feel like there's 30 seconds left. How about we grab it on the way out?
Yeah.
Well, how about we grab it somewhere where it's going to be less than $8?
Either way, yeah.
Grab it
Well, this was 2003. So it was maybe like
probably
$4.
$7.50
in New York City. Well, I think we have a similar dynamic when we go to movies, where we'll kind of, when walking in, we're like, is this a you movie or a me movie? Who's going to get the refill? Who's going to get because someone's going to get a popcorn refill. And if it's, it just depends on who the driver of us going to that movie was. The other person, we're usually pretty good about being like, I'll go get popcorn for this one. Like, there are movies that I borderline volunteer, or like, I just understand, like, I'm going to be the one that goes and gets the popcorn.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have been like, I don't, it's fine. I can get the popcorn too. So.
We are very different movie watchers because we go to a movie and I'm like, you better get your drink refilled before the movie actually starts. Because one, we all know this, Jeremy and I get there earlier than normal people.
And you guys sit in the middle.
So that we can sit where we want, and we usually sit in the middle. But I don't get something like, it's a heavy lift if I'm going to get a refill for something. Like, as in, I don't buy something that I think I'm going to need a refill for, or I go, man, I really would love a refill, but I'm not getting up in the middle of this movie. Like, it's just not happening.
But half the reason Rogi's going to the movie is for the popcorn.
I know, that's why I'm like, we're so different about going to movies, because I'm like, you have sat down, you've established your territory, you do not give it up. Do not move an inch. Occasionally there will be like a 2.5 hour long movie and I just have to get a drink or something like that, and we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But in that case, if I want it, I usually just go get it. But if Jeremy has less people on his side to squeeze through, I might be like, how do you feel about this? Are you up for this?
Go get me the ice.
Yeah, I think the length of the movie definitely factors in, because often when I'm at the theater in Warsaw, it's to see a 2.5 hour. Yeah, RIP, North Point Cinema. It's to see a long movie, and fairly often I'm one of 5 or fewer people that's in that theater. So I'm sitting in the front of the main section row where we like to sit and to put our feet up and stuff. And it's like, we're going to need popcorn at some point during The Brutalist or Killers of the Flower Moon or these like 3-hour epic movies that I'm, relative to, okay, if this movie, I could go to the movies or I could wait for it to come out on streaming. If it's an hour and a half comedy or something, we're pretty likely to say we can wait for this one. But this is going to be an epic. We want to see this in theaters, right?
The full experience.
Those are the bigger, longer, more epic movie, like a Dune or something. Which, yes, I don't want to miss a scene of, but because it's so long, I'm probably going to get a refill. So for our audience that cares, there is a website, Runtime, which gives you the best times to take a quick break from the movie and what you'll miss the least, just in case you find yourself in an epic movie and you really need that popcorn refill.
Yeah, because I have been burned multiple times by going out to get popcorn and needing to go to the bathroom. And I come back in and ask Rogi what I missed. And he'll say, oh, nothing. Or, they've just been talking. Someone dies.
That you think dies.
Big Hero 6, I had no idea
that
the brother
10
died.
years ago.
It doesn't matter.
One time we watched this animated movie
he died.
In 2014,
I kept waiting for the brother to show back up.
You're
and
like,
not
where
knowing
did
that
he
he
go?
died until the very end. And I'm like, what's going on? Ugh. I think I might also just be annoyed because sometimes we get to the movie theater late and we've missed the beginning. And so I just rewatched a movie and I was like, oh my gosh, here's the first 5 minutes I've never seen before or known about until now. And this movie's been out for 10 years because I hadn't rewatched it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that did happen to us when we watched Super 8, which we podcasted about, like the beginning scene. So we walk in and we don't realize that there was the accident. We're just like, we don't realize why these characters have such friction. Then we saw it later and we're like, oh,
This makes more sense.
this makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
It really takes you out of it because you
Don't know what's going
don't
on.
know what, yeah.
Speaking of being taken out of a movie, I had to pause this movie 3 times to be like, the 2004 Knicks are in the finals? What are we doing here, folks? Against the Sacramento Kings?
Which I didn't know that was a team.
They've never made it because they're terrible and have always
okay.
exclusively been terrible. Now, right then, when this movie was being filmed, was probably the peak of their franchise. They were good, but the game, so they clearly used one game and cut it up and to use some different chunks for scenes of this movie when the Kings played at the Knicks earlier that season. And all of the best players on the Kings were not playing that game because you don't have to play your best players against the Knicks because they're so bad.
The Knicks were worse than the Kings?
The Kings are historically very bad. They haven't made any NBA finals ever. Since, and they moved to, I don't know when they moved from Rochester to Kansas City to Sacramento, but those are the kinds of cities they're playing in, and they've never made the finals. They've probably been in Sacramento since like the 70s. The Knicks have been very bad since the late 90s up until like right now they're coming back up, right? But in like 2004 the Knicks were bottom of the barrel of the whole league, right? And so the Kings at that particular year did happen to have some really good players, and a lot of NBA fans think that they were robbed of going to the finals. They played the Lakers and there were foul calls and stuff like that. So they had Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Vlade Divac, Mike Bibby, right? They had star-level players. Chris Webber, MVP candidate at that time, but none of those players played in the game that we watched. So when the games that we watched, the shots were being taken by Jason White Chocolate Williams and Bobby Jackson, who were like middle bench guys. Othello Harrington, Clarence Weatherspoon maybe were out there. It was not like there were not stars at all.
And those are the
there
Kings.
Yes, those are like the Kings' backup players. And so I'm supposed to be watching this intense finals game, and I'm like, but no one on the court is good, Rachel. Like, what is happening? The Knicks have some leftovers of the last time they were good, but I mean, they're famously not good during this time period. Whereas the New Jersey Nets were very good during this time. They went to the finals at least once, and I think twice.
Is that when Common played for them?
Was that when who played for them? Common?
Which is a Just Right reference to another rom-com. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I have not seen that. What's the one where Eddie, is that where Whoopi Goldberg coaches the Knicks?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. They had Jason Kidd and Vince Carter and Richard Jefferson, Kerry Kittles, Devin Harris. I can keep going. Should I? Brian Scalabrine.
Okay.
Okay. So I just have to keep pausing. And I'm like, Rachel, I'm so focused on what's happening. Like, why did they choose these teams and how they're cutting it up and the shots that are being taken and made. Like, there's no impressive basketball scenes happening. There's just like missed jump shots constantly are all of the shots that we're getting. And so
I told you, it had to be that the Knicks, like that's the key part of it, it's the hometown. Like they're both all for.
And people are rabid Knicks fans.
Yes.
I mean, Knicks fans are Knicks fans, and
Yes.
they're famous for like their obsession with their love-hate relationship with this stupid team that
Joey and Chandler, they love the
city.
Knicks. Like
Absolutely.
all of the rom-coms and like, shows and everything, it's all about the Knicks. So they had to find a team in which was playing the Knicks in a big level game, and then could expound on that to be able to utilize it in the film. I was like, it's just film stuff. You just got to deal with it.
But that's just, I wonder if it has something to do with they went and asked the Lakers, and the Lakers were like, no, like you just can't use Lakers footage, and so they just keep going down the line because it has to be a Western Conference team for it to be the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, Spurs, can we? And the Spurs are like, no, we're too serious of a franchise. And they just keep going on the line. The Kings are like, hey, what's up? You can do whatever you
they're
want.
likely not doing, if they didn't make the playoffs that year anyways.
Well, the Kings would have made the playoffs that year, but the Knicks would not. Did.
Oh, okay.
So It was very distracting to see, you know the trope of guys just sitting around naming baseball players or old basketball players. That was what I was doing by myself on the screen. I was like, Latrell Sprewell was still on that team. Now, why is that? Is that a shot of Mark Jackson? Who's the coach? Like,
you were more into the game than into Andy and Matthew McConaughey watching the game.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yes, I was.
Ben,
I don't know
thank
that I
you.
would say I was into the game, but I was very distracted by the basketball, by the fact that this basketball game was happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you any of the basketball things that happened except that they were playing basketball.
Yeah, they were. Agreed.
Or
I thought
were they?
it was a fun like timeline through their relationship because it was all like we saw like 4 or 5 games throughout this movie, like happening at some point, whether they were there or not. Like where they were talking about it, they heard about it, they were going to watch it at home at one night, they didn't, and then they were going to watch it. They were going to go to the final game together at one point, and so like we got to see that transition like key with them the whole time. Like that was kind of a good anchoring point of like throughout this 10-day situation.
Yeah, and it was an effective emotional fulcrum for me because this thing of. Well, we're going to organize our evening around watching this team that we both love. You know, that makes sense to me and why there would be heightened emotions around that and the frustration with her. And that's the thing is like in the beginning, she's this big Knicks fan. And then every time they try to sit down and watch a game together, she's got all these reasons that that's not what's going to happen. And they're going to go to a restaurant and whatever. And so.
Because she's a vegetarian.
Yeah, it turns out. So
that's
she
one
had
of my
eaten
favorites.
lobster.
Oh, yeah.
2 nights before with him.
So what is the thing where you eat fish? Okay. And so he just doesn't know the difference between.
She doesn't technically say doesn't she technically say I wish I ate meat when he shows her.
I think that
lamb.
is what it was.
I think that's
what
she says. So maybe it's implied that she means she's a pescatarian. But the closest thing to a plot hole is like the second time that happens, don't you go, hey, so what's going on? Because you were a big Knicks fan. Were you just pretending to be a Knicks fan then, or are you pretending to not now? Because it's got to be one of the, like. There's a couple of times that just sitting down and
that's why
insisting on having a rational conversation would
he
have solved
doesn't
things.
say that because if he brings it up, then that could be the end of the relationship, and he's got to get her to fall in love with him. He's just going along with everything,
right? So he's trying to.
He's got to make it
artificially
last
create
for
like
the
a
10 days.
honeymoon period, like beginning of a relationship thing by never saying no.
Yeah, or calling her out on the things.
I guess that's true. But still, like, weren't you a big Knicks? Weren't you like excited to go to the game? 2 days ago? I don't know. I just couldn't imagine the way that she was acting about the game. The Pacers have been to the finals once in our relationship and twice in my lifetime, and there was no question about what I was doing those evenings. Like, there's many times in my life that I'd be like, hey, I really want to do this. Like, what do you think about this with our schedule or this concert we could go to or go to this movie? But I appreciate you when the Pacers were in the finals. I didn't feel like I really had to like run everything by you or be like, darling, is it okay if we watch the Pacers game tonight? Like that's just clearly, and I appreciate that you understand that is just what I'm going to be doing. And you don't have to.
And how long have we been together?
12 years.
And they'd been together
married
4 days,
for almost 12
if
years.
that. So it is a little different.
I would have been, one of my favorite things, there's 2 here, is when they go to the restaurant and she sneaks into the back to watch the game with the cooks.
Yes.
And she knows them by name.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how often is she eating here? And they're like, yeah, they've just got food for her. Like they had like a little cheese burrito or something for her.
And I love that. And the game ends and she's like, it's okay. We'll get him tomorrow. You know, I love that. It's just I love that. And then the other thing was, I do like when he calls her out, when he finally like after poker night and he's like, where is that sweet, funny girl that I met? And he has like that whole conversation and she makes kind of the sassy remark that he enjoys. And he's like, right there, that's what I'm talking about. So he knows that it's happening and she just can't stay with it, or she can't stay with it long enough because it's not her.
Yeah.
Like
Some of her keeps peeking out. Like she's trying. I mean, she goes back into the kitchen at the poker game exasperated of like what am I supposed to do next? Like, I've already thrown the vegetables. I've, brought in snacks. I've made them put out their cigars, like brought the dog in. Like I've done this. And then she goes one of my favorite bits that she does is when she takes the tissue and has him blow. And then all of his friends are like, yeah, Mr. Sniffles. Like we've got to blow here. And so
just every individual thing in that scene is immediate, like we are going out into the hallway and you're leaving or you're apologizing. Like those are the two options. Like because it's all so insane.
Yeah, it's very intense.
Maybe except for putting out the cigars. I guess if you were like, hey, like I've got, real emphysema issue, like something that like that's actually like that's the closest thing to being okay to me.
Even then, like her tone when she is like totally not cool.
Yes. And so if the goal is to make me like squirm with how cringe inducing she's being, then like that's being achieved in that scene for sure. Because she is just buck wild.
One of the things I appreciate that they both had was their little entourage of like helping them figure out what their next steps were going to be. So like she had the girls trying to think of ways of like, oh, you're letting him have a poker night? Absolutely not. Like he's with you. And then the guys are like, therapy. Every time my wife threatens to divorce me, we go to therapy. It works every time. Like they've got their people that are in with them and just like trying to help them figure out and like move forward. And so I appreciate that friendship aspect of it, that like, they've got their people and we got to see that. It was all healthy friendship relationships that we got to see.
Now, is that best friend cadre thing a rom-com staple? I mean, I know when Harry Met Sally, whenever they're separate, they're both talking to their best friends and it's sort of like exposition talking through, well, this is how that made me feel and why don't you just do this? Is that like a classic rom-com thing?
I mean, you normally have your bestie. Sometimes they're thrown in there of like, a bestie that's also kind of jealous of you and like not wanting absolutely everything that's best for you. But
is Crazy Rich Asians a rom-com?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You have seen that one.
Yep. By myself on Movie Pass in 2018.
Okay. Yes, because she had her college roommate. So there's usually at least a one person that when you separate, that you chat to. She felt pretty isolated
in Crazy Rich Asians when she was on the Big Bachelor Party thing. But there was another girl that was more level-headed. Because she was getting bullied by the even crazier, richer Asians.
Well, but she was being bullied by his ex. And then it was his sister that came in and kind of helped her. But then she
Anita
left. Yeah.
I believe it was Anita. Yes, that is definitely a rom-com thing. It's not always a group. Sometimes it's just one other person. And sometimes it's a couple of different people based on like different people that are filling that role. But yeah.
So tell me about going home to Staten Island, because it seems like she just gives up trying to be crazy.
I think it's harder for her to be crazy in front of his family.
Because she would be too legitimately embarrassed by how she acted around the boys at poker night.
I don't know if it was that or if it was that like this is more real.
I mean, obviously she is realizing that she's falling in love with him at that point. Like I get that. And so she's just unable to put up the facade because she doesn't try at any point really that day that I remember.
Yeah. She doesn't have any of the crazy stunts that come out at that time when they're with them. And I think that she's also realizing the realness of it when she finds out that she's the only girl that he's ever brought home too. And so like, there's just kind of different check marks happening in that week, that night or whatever that they spent there that I think was just kind of tough for her to be able, like, figuring out how am I going to do this? Like, what's this going to look like?
Who watched the dog?
The therapist.
That dog can't not pee everywhere, and they left it in his sick, exposed brick apartment all day by itself.
Maybe he had one of his buddies come and watch the dog.
I guess that's a small enough dog you can just do like a pee pad situation.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, I just don't like dogs like that. The weird hairless thing. I mean, you have to get that dog groomed every 2 weeks to keep it looking like that.
If that was John Wick's dog, would you be as supportive of him?
No. No. That like blurs the line between dog and just it's like a spectacle.
Well, now we know where your line is, Rogie.
And eat popcorn. Like,
I'm sad.
A dog that you can, like, I eat a piece of popcorn, you eat a piece of popcorn, but I'm a big dog guy. And so that's definitely
You
a
like
bias.
Daphne.
Daphne was one of the few under 20-pound dogs that Rogi could enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean,
Or is he being Andy and he just never told us how much he hates her?
No, there's no hate for Daphne.
He carried her around like a princess.
and
There
I
was no
also-
hate for Daphne.
I loved Daphne, but I don't know that under other circumstances that's a dog that I would gravitate towards, like just hanging out with. And let's
Yeah.
be clear, I carried her around because it was easier. Okay. Than in our house, calling her, expecting her to hear me and see where the door was, and not wanting to leave her alone in a room lest she die, lest she just like collapse.
We really
and be out
traumatized
of
you.
my
I'm so
sight.
sorry, Rogi.
Well, we all knew it was on the table the last few times.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to make sure that I could sincerely say, like, look, I was with her. I was watching what happened. And she just like, I didn't want to be
She
like,
just went.
well, by the time I came back into the room.
I just went to pee. It was 2 minutes tops.
Yeah. So that was self-preservation to some extent. But like, I couldn't play fetch with Daphne. Like, what was hanging out? I liked her curling up in my lap, like while we watch a movie or something.
Yeah.
And that was actually kind of nice because I'd be happy for George or Fred to curl up in my lap, but they're not going to for 2 hours
Yeah.
consecutively. Not an experience that Rachel's had.
She isn't going to play fetch with anybody.
Right. And Charlie didn't play fetch growing up either. So like, I get it. There's dogs. Not all dogs play fetch, but
She likes to play like stop the ball and then sniff around everything else, you know?
So in the world of Andy and Ben, who would you rather have as a boss? The guy from the ad agency or her editor at the magazine?
easily the guy from the ad agency.
Yeah?
Are you kidding me?
Why?
He doesn't lie to or mislead his employees. He's like, well, we're going to give it to them. And he's like, give me a chance. We'll do a bet. And he's like, okay, like that's kind of a fun bit. Sure. Like he's just playing it all sincerely, where she's like sneaking in, like listening to their conversation, just popping in, sort of being weirdly insulting, leads her on into thinking she's going to let her write whatever she wants. But then really it's like not any
think
of the stuff she wants to.
That's unrealistic though. Like it is a magazine that's not the content that they're publishing.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think it was, I don't know what Andy was thinking. Like you don't live in a real world if you're thinking that you're going to be able to write about politics.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to have to go to the Wall Street Journal.
Well,
or
that's
the
what I
New
mean.
York Times. Right.
For that magazine.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't love how I thought that you wouldn't appreciate from the advertising guy that like it wasn't the deal for him to get the ad agency wasn't based on merit. And I thought that would frustrate you. It's based on this absolutely ridiculous bet that they made up that doesn't have like great rules or structure. And it's just like, let's see what happens. And it's based on my opinion. And so I didn't think there would be enough of a rubric that you would be like, yes, I think that this is okay.
So the thing is that the Judys agreed to it, right? And so for him, I mean, he sat down and he was having drinks with the Judys to knock out the ad campaign when Matthew McConaughey showed up. And it was basically in the process of being like, okay, like you tried, but you know, they're getting it. But then Matthew McConaughey talked the Judys into letting the deal get made. And so it's kind of a chill thing for the boss to be like, you guys are fine with, all right. I mean, we can do that because it's such a crazy, like she has to fall in love with you, you know, which isn't objective, but as long as he holds all the cards there, I think. And during the process, during that week in between, he's seen like Matthew McConaughey. I mean, both teams are putting in work and is like seeing the extent to which, I mean, obviously Matthew McConaughey cares about getting that deal and him being on the pitch and things like that, but also that he is like working at it and he does the ice or frost yourself thing, and because he holds the hammer at the end, he can just say, oh no, she's not in love with you. Like he can actually decide. He can just say yes, she is, or no, she isn't, based on who did the most.
So do you think that he was literally just like allotting it by the work that they were doing, and then if the girls had done a better job, whether she was in love with him or not, he would have just said, oh, they won it, and he wasn't necessarily doing it based on whether she was in love or not.
Evaluation.
Frankly, the concept of a high-end ad agency and just I mean, this wasn't even them getting a job. It was the pitch they were making to the diamond companies.
Mhm.
That's so nebulous and not rubric based anyway. They just go, frost yourself. I love it. Like what do we mean doing a better job? I mean, like there's 3 different taglines and they're all equally,
It's super
however, ad
subjective.
agents. Yeah. I mean, and of course they're, I'm sure they have track records of success, and, it's just kind of like, I've got a good ear for it, or like I have a track record of knowing what speaks to people. But if it's not a spreadsheet job, right? It's not a.
You're not right
this
or
is
you're
a sales
wrong.
competition,
Yeah.
and who can make the most money by the end, or but if she falls in love with me, like that would make any sense. But this is a nebulous enough sort of squishy, like, yeah, you're doing a good job and you're doing a good job, that it's like it's hard to separate her actually being in love with him or not, and was that all the criteria that he was basing it on? It doesn't really matter. It's an ad agency, like it's all so intangible. So I wasn't that concerned
And
with it.
Mrs.
DeLauer. She's the
DeLauer.
Because De Beer is the real diamond company.
She could have just said, I don't like that idea, and knocked the Judys off of the pitch anyway. Like, she could have said, I don't want them. I don't like their ideas. I don't want them working on my project. And he would have had to come up with somebody else to put on the project.
And if this guy has ever met Mrs. DeLauer, he'd be
obviously
like,
would pick
I'm bringing
Ben.
in Matthew McConaughey
Right.
just to stand in a room with
She
her. Like,
flirts
that's all.
with him at the party, like hardcore flirting.
Yeah. And and Andy's like watching and smiling about it, I was like, I'm glad that's how she's reacting, because clearly this is just one of these women older women wants to like touch all over him and stuff. And he's not, there are some movies that would be the third act twist. And it's like, oh my goodness, he was just using me to get to or whatever.
Yeah,
or she'd be jealous or be like, I saw how she was with you and you didn't push her hand away. Like, I feel like that's a thing that could happen in some movies.
For sure.
But she just was like, he's being nice to this old lady and indulging her, who's clearly married and is just very vain and all of that. So I appreciated that.
Jess, what were your thoughts on the concept of going to a party without jewelry on to then wear fun jewelry for the night and then giving it back, unless you're rich enough to possibly buy it, potentially, if that's an option?
I mean, I think that would be fun.
I think it would be fun too, but I feel like for like elites of New York, that's not something they would do. Like I
don't know that these are necessarily like, how elite are they?
Enough to be invited.
They invited people to the party to celebrate what exactly? The kickoff of the ad campaign?
That's a great question.
See, I didn't flag that as being an unrealistic concept.
There weren't really celebrities on a red carpet, right? They didn't do a red carpet walk-in thing.
It was just kind of like a fun, fancy party. I don't know. I'm not part of that.
That was something I always thought when I was younger, of like, I wouldn't go. Like, I thought like Andy's dress, I absolutely love. Like, it was the whole, I remember a girl in high school, she got that for senior prom, like, the same simple, like silhouette and the bright yellow. Like, I love that dress. I think it's super cute. But it always bugged me that she didn't have jewelry on when she went.
I think it's more, she doesn't know that she can wear the jewelry at the party. So when he picks her up, she's not wearing jewelry. Like, she didn't plan to wear jewelry. And then when she gets there, he's like, why don't you go over and frost yourself? And she's like, oh, I can wear those?
Oh, I assumed it was the exact opposite. That he had told her there's going to be a whole thing where you come in and pick out one of the sets of earrings or something. So come.
But then would she have been
on.
surprised?
Was she surprised? I've only seen.
She
the movie
seemed
once.
surprised.
Yeah.
But then her editor was there, and she had a tiara and like gloves and a bracelet and a necklace. And so, like, did she arrive?
Audrey Hepburn
with
styling,
because she feels like I feel like her personality is that she would have jewelry on before she go. Like, she's going to an event.
She probably got an actual invitation, and Andy's definitely a +1,
which would have said. So I guess maybe if Ben would have said
Ben
that.
would just. I assume that Ben told her, oh, this is going to be the fun thing that you do. And then she gets there, and maybe the surprise is just, oh, wow, like, I'm seeing these diamonds up close and personal. And I didn't realize it was going to be quite so.
If you were invited to a party, would you be like, Rachel, they're going to have, this is a themed party.
Okay. Let's finish the prompt here.
This is a themed party, and this is the theme. We need to dress accordingly.
So you're asking me how I would handle being invited to a party where there were explicit rules given to me about how the party was going to go? And whether or not I would communicate those rules to
I'm
Rachel.
going to ask you that question, and then I'm going to ask Rachel that question.
I would absolutely communicate those rules to Rachel immediately.
I'm assuming you, because you live with her, would just hand her the invitation and be like, where everything's listed, right?
But if for some reason it was communicated to me verbally, or Matthew McConaughey seemed like, I don't know if planning the event is exactly like his role, but his company had a hand in it to some extent. So he's kind of there in maybe pitching the ideas for how the jewelry bar thing would go. If I knew that there were rules or expectations for this certain bit that we'd like everyone to try to participate in at the party, I would be very focused on making sure I did not break those rules, because I don't want to stand out as the person that's not going along with it.
Right.
And I understand
you don't want it to affect your ability to get the campaign either.
I guess I just can't. I would never ever have that job. But I understand that if you're going to do a bit like that, if you're going to have a theme like that you need a quorum of people to get that process started for it to not be weird and awkward.
Yeah.
And would want to be a catalyst towards helping that be successful as opposed to being a damper on it. Does that track, Rachel, with what you know about me?
Yeah, he likes to follow the rules. He's big on that.
I'm just like, thank you for telling me that there were rules. I'm so glad that there are rules and I know about them. You know?
I just don't think that he told her. I think he was like, come to my thing with me. I'll pick you up at whatever time.
Sure.
Dress
appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, in my, 11, 12-year-old head, when I'm watching this, I'm like, this is a huge security risk. Like, this just doesn't seem realistic.
I don't disagree with that.
Why? I just felt like there should have been, it just didn't seem like an actual thing that could happen. Like, it's fun. And so, sure, it's a movie, it's a rom-com, like, just for that. But even back then, I was just like, this doesn't seem realistic.
I think they probably could have managed it. She does walk out.
She walks out with the giant yellow diamond necklace.
Past security. It's not till after she's gone that they go, wait, doesn't she have the so-and-so
The
on?
crazy one.
Isadora.
Nobody
That's
else.
Mr. DeLauer, by the way.
Mrs. DeLauer.
No. Mr. DeLauer's like, Isadora. Wasn't she wearing it?
Mrs. DeLauer is the one that says, isn't she wearing?
But he's the one who put it on Andy, by the way.
Yeah, he's the one
I
that
never
put it on
realized
her.
until this time.
Yeah. Because he saw her beauty and was just like, oh my gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
And she made it almost all the way down the steps. Like, there was a big old Met type looking steps.
But they had her identification.
They had her name. They didn't take driver's license at the doors or anything.
But they knew who she was enough that they could have tracked it down if she had stolen it.
If she gave the right name.
But then you track it to
the invitation?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it could be done. Is it the most secure thing? Probably not. They should have had people at the door,
just ready to go,
preventing people from going to or from.
Just being like, this is what we've got. Okay. So then they officially break up, and neither of them go to the finals because they're sad sulking around.
Insane.
Well, did they have tickets? Like, yes. You have to buy. Oh,
they
that's
each
right.
had
They
a ticket.
did.
Because he gave her hers and he had his. So they didn't know if the other one was going to be
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that, by the way.
Split them up?
Yeah.
They're like, no, we have to go together.
But that was before they broke up.
I'm not handing you the ticket to the basketball game we're going to until we're in the process of walking in.
Right.
I'm keeping those two tickets together. And maybe you're the one holding on to them, but the two tickets are going to
stay together. They stay together. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And now it's all digital, so it's different, but yeah.
Still, I'm just like, I don't want to hold.
Well, I know.
We just put them all on my phone.
I'm going to send you this ticket for Ticketmaster. Download the app again. And I'm like, can't you just scan it for me as I walk through?
I'm like, absolutely not. I was like,
you're in a situation where you can't do that. I go up and say, I've got all four of these for these four people.
He just doesn't want to. The game that we went to the other night, the usher scanned his and then he walked away and she's like, oh, wait. And she's like, oh, you have yours. And then she scanned mine. So even she expected.
Here's the thing, Jeremy. I often go to Pacers games with Gail Merriman as one of the people. And it would be, so it is just easier for everyone involved if Rogie is in charge of the ticket process. But game 7 of the finals of this team that you're obsessed with, I'll go sit next to, name whoever you want that I don't like. I'll go sit next to whoever at that game. Like, I'm going to that game.
I just, like, the thing that bothers me about the movie, and it's not even really a big bother, it's that she's so mad that he was doing the same thing that she was. And I think like maybe it's because she found out in the way that she did. And if she had just taken a minute to process it, she wouldn't be quite so upset. But like you guys were playing the same game.
Yeah. I'm not mad at either of them because they were both doing like, and Rogie, he has feelings about it. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It definitely sounded like you were going to continue that sentence. So they're both playing a game. Agreed. His is to be super nice for 10 days, and hers is to ruin his life for 10 days until he breaks up with her. And I mean, especially, I mean, talk about taking him to meet his parents, and he'd never taken anyone there before. He's being a really good boyfriend. And so, like, of the two people, you're the one that was being awful, you know? Like,
but he was starting out completely dishonest. That's not, if you and I started dating and you did it for a bet, and then I found out later that it was for a bet, I don't care what would have happened in between then.
I would be curious, like, he would not have pursued her the way that he did if he wasn't trying to win a bet either.
I don't know if that's, like, the very first night, he wouldn't have, but that's not because he didn't like her, but just because that's the kind of shallow person that he is, where he only has one night stands or whatever.
Well, maybe not one night stands necessarily, even though they kind of lead you to believe that, but I was thinking more like, you know, he never brought somebody home to meet his parents. Like, he wouldn't have done that if he hadn't needed to do the couples counseling thing and she mentioned it. Like, if she had not mentioned it, he wouldn't have taken her home.
And how is it that she finds his mom's phone number? This is early internet.
I mean, we're still phone booking. Yeah.
I guess.
She could have called the office and maybe a secretary gave it to him or something.
How about the super? Yeah, that one was like blowing my mind. But even in 2004, I would have not been okay with that.
That's something we would need to talk to the super about. That's not Andy's fault.
No.
Disagree. She bears some responsibility. She's the one that did it.
It's not appropriate for her to ask the question.
Right.
But it's also, if she asks the question, who's guarding it, who's standing in the way, and that's the super.
It's not her fault that it was possible, but she wouldn't have known that it was possible if she didn't try to do it in the first place. You can't absolve her of blame for doing it just because it should have been harder.
Okay, that's true. But I still would yell at him for her.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not saying it's 100.
You can't give the key out.
They both did bad things.
Yes.
But
no one's disagreeing with that.
I think
you said that's not Andy's fault.
That the super gave her the key, no. But I said that
he wouldn't have given her the key if she didn't ask and manipulate him to give her the key.
We don't know the conversation that went into it.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it was really chill and accurate and truthful.
Oh, yeah. She could have been like, I left this in there, whatever.
Hey, so
anything.
I'm a writer, and I'm trying to write a thing about how to lose a guy in 10 days. I'm treating him like crap.
He could have let her in if she'd said she left something there versus making a key and giving her a copy of the key.
That would have been smarter. And she would have been lying. So...
Yeah, she was definitely lying no matter what it was to get the key, I'm sure. But I guess I assume that people that are doing that, they're already lying to get what they want, and I need somebody else to protect my apartment.
Dog. Privacy.
They had Kroll.
Is that the name of the dog?
Yeah.
Again, that's a con, not a pro.
Okay, here's my big thing that I do not understand.
Okay.
Game 3, Ben's like, oh, I've got something I got to do. And she's like, oh, well, I had tickets. And he's like, oh, well, you had tickets? Maybe I can cancel my work thing. And then you flash and you see them at Madison Square Garden and they were at a Celine Dion concert, which was probably really fun and cool. Maybe not necessarily Ben's thing, but I imagine she does a great show.
Mm-hmm.
And she's killer pipes. Like, that would be entertaining for me. But... can you have a concert and a basketball game at the same venue at the same time?
No.
So, hello? somebody who knows that should know that when she has tickets, if we're playing the Sacramento Kings, you think we're flying to Sacramento? What kind of tickets do you think she said she had? Like, I don't understand that.
So is the first game they go to game 1?
I think so.
Okay. So the current
And-
NBA playoff format is 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah.
So the top seed gets the first 2 games, and then the other team gets the first 2 games at their home, which would be in Sacramento. And then games 5 and 7 would be in New York, in theory. So there's no way game 3 would be in New York.
Well, did they
Right.
watch
But
it on
it
like a
used to be-
Jumbotron or something? Like they did like going into Gamebridge? Because there were people coming out of the stadium, like Knicks fans.
I'm not familiar with how long that's been happening.
Okay.
I mean, there is a Jumbotron, but fidelity-wise, like watching a full game on it, I just don't. Maybe they were doing that 20 years ago. I don't know.
Okay.
Pacers weren't exactly making the finals every year. It used to be 2-3-2 instead of 2-2-1-1-1 to cut down on travel when you're flying cross country. So it'd be 2 in New York, and then the games 3, 4, and 5 in Sacramento, and then 6, 7 if necessary back in New York. But I don't know when. It would have been probably around then, around this time that changed. But it maybe even been 10 years later. I don't know. It's also right around this time. The first round used to be best of 5, and then in like 2001 it switched to best of 7. So they were monkeying around.
So,
with
but
the
we're
format of
saying
things.
no matter the format, both of the ones you just discussed, game 3 would not have been in New York.
Correct. It should have been in Sacramento.
And thus, I'm still saying, what kind of tickets?
What did he think
Yeah.
that she was referring to?
Yeah.
Either they were going to fly to Sacramento right then,
Right. To
like
watch the game?
negative 3 hours ago, or maybe they had some kind
There
of
has to have
exclusive
been
watch party.
a viewing party,
Yeah.
because they were Knicks fans coming out when the Celine Dion concert was finishing.
So there was some kind of cool bar where
yeah.
they were going to try to,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there had to have been something.
So
like
we're
that.
thinking, while the Celine Dion concert was happening, there was also a viewing party.
Mhm.
I just don't know
think
that that's
the
realistic.
movie- I think it's not realistic. I think the movie is eliding over that. And they're just like, yeah, basketball, and it's happening in New York, and it's all fine, Because
They're like, how can we trick
was the
him
Celine
into
Dion
thinking?
concert at Madison Square Garden? It was for sure. They walked out of Madison Square
I'm
Garden after that?
90% certain.
Okay, I wasn't 100%.
Because it
sure.
looks like the same
It's the same
venue-
exit point.
Okay.
that they
There
were
are
in
other-
the,
go to the
mo-
game.
the
There
first
are
movie.
other concert venues
First-
in New York City, so it could be at Radio City Music Hall.
It looked
or a
like the
baseball stadium or
same.
something.
It was either
Exit point
at
as
Madison
game
Square
one.
Garden or right next to, like it was
Okay.
all right there together for sure.
Again, for an hour in the middle of this movie, I was like Googling the roster of the 2003 New York Knicks.
Yeah.
So I might have missed that detail. Yeah, I think that's just, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's times that you can look at the basketball play that's happening on the floor and see one of the clocks that says 7 minutes left. But when you look up on the Jumbotron, it says 1.5 minutes left. And they're just like cutting and reclipping and reusing stuff. So
Yeah.
the basketball stuff isn't like extremely canonical.
So she writes an article about how to lose a guy in 10 days. And Ben doesn't want to read it, but one of his buddies is like, hey, you need to. And then he decides he's in love with her and he's going to go get her because she's leaving to go write in New York.
Where that's the only place. No, in DC.
Oh,
Yeah.
DC. Yeah.
Because that's the
Different
only
place.
place she can write serious things.
Yeah, which is odd.
because the internet is just not happening good enough, apparently.
But also, there's the Boston Globe has a history of really serious journalism, and the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times, and the New Yorker or the Atlantic, which are in New York.
I didn't buy that
Didn't
either.
understand that.
But
Mhm.
also,
We love pulling
there
someone
has to
over on
be
the
a-
Brooklyn Bridge.
yeah, there has to be a mechanism to get her.
Yeah.
Which this is where Andy's really great. Can you pull over? Where do you want me to pull over? I'm in the middle of the bridge. Okay, well, do you have a bucket I can puke in?
An ashtray.
Like,
You know, an ashtray.
She
I
just,
can
like,
be-
yeah.
click, like right there. So
She's like, what do I need to do to
she
get out of
is
the situation?
very
She's got it. Yeah.
quick-witted, and I think that's what I like about her. Like, she thinks very fast.
Here's the thing. I was confused about that article because I would have assumed that the editor-in-chief, the mean
Editrix.
lady, would have not allowed her to run some of that stuff where she's like, I'm quitting because they're not giving me the journalistic freedom to whatever.
She didn't put that in the article.
There wasn't any of that in there?
No, it was just
she quit after she handed her the article. She's like, oh my gosh, this is the best. You can write about whatever you want. And she's like, great, I can write about this. And she's like, nope, the wind's not going to blow you there.
Right.
And then she turned in her resignation.
But the article that was published, when Andy Greenberg reads it to Matthew McConaughey, says this is going to be my last article for Cosmo or whatever, and it lists a couple like negative reasons why in it. It definitely says this is going to be my last one because
It definitely says this is my last
Washington.
article.
And that's how he knew.
No, he didn't know that she was moving to Washington.
He knew that.
He went to the magazine place and
like,
the
is she still
friends
here?
Told her that.
Did he not have her number? They're not calling each other?
She wouldn't have been home. It was the middle of the workday.
They have cell phones. Don't they have cell phones?
I mean, I had one at that time too.
It wasn't in her purse that she left at his house because he gets a hold of her on her work phone, or she calls him on the work phone. So they have each other's work numbers for sure.
And they have each other's, she has his home number because she left him a bunch of voicemails.
Yeah.
Are you there? It's Andy.
And we see her on the phone with his mom, but that's on his home phone again, right?
Yeah. One of the things I also liked for tracking within this movie is you could see how comfortable she was with him by her hair, because she always had her hair straightened at the beginning. And then as she got more comfortable, it got to her natural curls. And so we saw that creeping in of when her hair was curly or not. So I liked that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that we never go to Andy's apartment. Ben never goes to Andy's apartment.
Yeah. The only time I think we're at Andy's apartment is we're on the rooftop, I think, when she's sunbathing.
If that's
with
hers,
her
it might be one of her girlfriends.
Yeah.
She brings all that terrible decor over to his apartment. And I was like, where did she get all of this so fast? Did she just have it at home? Was that sincerely stuff that she had? Did she go to Catherine Hahn's apartment and pick up terrible decor from there?
She was probably like, ladies, I need all of your pinkiest, froofiest stuff. And she probably also bought some of it too, because she has a card, I'm sure, that she can use
I assume
for
she's got
research
an expense
article.
account.
Yeah.
And there's just a tacky home goods somewhere in Manhattan that she's going to go get the stuff to go all over the toilet?
Probably.
I guess.
Sure, there's some thrift shops or different things that make it available that she can get. She goes and does some research and picks it up.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Jeremy sent me some things that are worth noting. There were an estimated, I'm bad reading numbers, $14,200,000 worth of jewels lent to the film. Andy wears a Harry Winston diamond wreath necklace with an 84-carat yellow diamond pendant called the Isadora attached, valued at approximately $5,280,000. And a pair of 5-carat radiant cut yellow diamond stud earrings worth approximately $125,000. She returns the necklace, but security does not get the earrings back.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I realized she put earrings on.
I don't think you see her put them on, but you see her with them in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she didn't have them before, which I just think is interesting.
So really, it's not a rom-com comedy. It's a rom-con, and she stole some earrings.
Heist movie.
Yeah.
Because that's the hard thing is, like, I'm thinking to Ocean's 11, or not Ocean's 13. Ocean's 8. Thank you. Numbers. I'm thinking of Ocean's 8, and I realized they were made at very different times. And like the security that they had just for the one necklace that lady was wearing versus the security of all the, how did they get all of these different jewelers here with all of these different diamonds? And that was the lack of it.
It's just that one company that controls 90% of the diamond industry, that family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is how
the DeLauers have it, but they had all the other and I assume each company would have their own security there. Like they wouldn't just rely on whatever security was at the place for it.
But this is the thing. They need you to see the security in Ocean's 8 so that they can make the heist look impressive. They don't need you to see the security in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days because that's not part of the storyline.
Want to see the security
in
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
But guess what? The Kings were good and the Knicks sucked, so they wouldn't be in the finals, okay? The security is your Kings and Knicks.
The thing is for me that the diamond stuff doesn't matter. She leaves with it on and then they get it back from her. And I'm like, what was this about? Is this a metaphor of some kind? It didn't advance the plot in a way that I understood. I was like, okay, oh no, she has it on still. And then she gives it back. And I'm like, oh, all right.
The diamond was just purely to complete her look and make her look gorgeous.
It was just like,
But
okay, we've got
then
this rom-com.
Once
what
they put it on her, they couldn't let her leave with it because that's absolutely not realistic.
Yeah.
And that's all fine. But this didn't have to be, would we call this a plot line in the movie? Like the thing about the diamond.
So like done it without it. Yeah.
I'm just not that concerned with it. I mean, she's storming out. They do the "You're So Vain" up on stage.
It also creates the light note where Mrs. DeLauer goes, she's laughing. She thinks it's all a game. And then she's like, it keeps it light that she has to go get the diamond back.
Yeah.
Sure.
The "You're So Vain" part is one of my favorite parts in the movie for sure. I think it's so funny.
So cringy.
Yeah.
You guys like, this isn't even my song. They just introduced
work with me, Marvin.
That's why it's so good. There's just so many like little pieces within it. It's just great. So do you think
realistic.
Ben and Andy make it in their relationship?
I think they make out in their relationship. Hey-o.
Oh my gosh.
High fives? No?
High fiving yourself over there?
High five.
I think I don't know. They could, they might not. I think when they're being authentic, they are much better suited to each other.
Yeah. Very compatible.
But now they have to get over the fact that they were both
lying to each other.
And then you have to deal with like how much of my ability to trust did that impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they'd figure that out.
Yeah.
And then they have to get into the real conversations like, what does our future look like? Do you want kids? Do I want kids? Do we want to live in the city forever? Do we want to move to Staten Island to be closer to your family? Like,
well, they've got the baby books. They already know how the kids are going to turn out.
Oh my gosh.
Little
so
yodeling
creepy.
children.
I didn't like that at all. So weird.
So, Rogie, would you watch this movie again?
Yeah, but it would be exclusively basketball stuff. I'd be going frame by frame. I'd be pausing it. It would be for the basketball more than for the rom-com. The rom-com stuff is fine though.
Did you laugh? How many times did you laugh?
Did I laugh? I mean, Jess, I've got bad news about how many times I laugh at
you're
movies
not a
I think are
laugher,
hilarious. I'm not a laugher.
Was there any smiling,
I'm only a laugher
smirking?
when I'm with Eric Ryan Tutherow. Is that about it, Rachel?
Joseph, John, Grace.
I don't crack up at things John and Grace say all that often.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's mostly Eric though.
Okay. I laughed. I was
laughed
multiple
too.
times where I'm giggling away.
Yeah, I guess I would watch it again. Probably I would second screen it.
Yeah, while you're doing
I'd play
other things.
Sudoku while I watched it. I wish that it was Hitch.
Yeah, you seen Hitch too? So was that 5?
Yeah. I wish that I was like I could be watching Hitch, which is like not that different premise wise.
Yeah, just lying going on.
Oh, you were a relationship coach and you told him to squirt mustard on his shirt to make me feel better about me squirting mustard. No, that was all him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the premise of why they were in the relationship or like what it was actually sincere and was not.
Spoilers.
Not that different. Spoilers for Hitch.
If you haven't seen Hitch,
We're right here.
come on.
This is where we live.
I love that part.
That is where I live.
You don't need
Every
pizza.
time
This
I'm
is where you
dancing.
You don't need pizza. They got food there.
Is where you live. They're on. Every time I watch Hitch, the last time being 15 years ago, it's like we're on ski-doos going out to Ellis Island, like, and this is like I don't know. It's gonna be cold in the North Atlantic and at any point, really, but
Oh, and that's their
it's
date.
just kind of a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big swing for a date. I mean, I guess when you're Will Smith. Yeah, I kind of wish there was a little more Hitch. It was a little more. We're building up like a little. There was a little more subtlety because the first time when they go to the basketball game, going straight into the next day with the books with the children's faces or whatever, it was like a big escalation for me.
Yeah.
And I guess they needed time to fit in her being sweet at his parents' house. So I would cut out maybe 10 minutes of Diamond Night and maybe 5 minutes of that and do another in-between scene where where it's like if you throw a pot in a frog in a pot of boiling water, it's going to hop right out. But if you boil it slowly, then it's not going to notice.
So you just wanted more of the simmering.
I wanted to simmer and ramp it up more. And maybe even more cutaways to their friends and be like, oh no, she did that. That's crazy. And like, we didn't do a lot of that with Catherine Hahn. Like, oh my gosh. Or her being like, what? That's a weird thing to do. Like, just keep it a little more grounded. But I mean, for what it was, yeah, I get it.
One of the things that I appreciated from the side characters that I forgot to mention was
drama.
When they're making the bet and they're picking out the ladies, and she's like, oh, how about her right there? And she points to Andy, and the other one is like, what? Why are you doing? Like, you can see the facial expressions. And then the girl who's pointing her out is like, and I don't know if she winks at her, but she like tells her to shut it. And like the trust that you have to have right there to like not blow it.
Oh, the Judys are in lockstep for sure.
Like crazy good. And I just think that's like, we don't like them, sure, but good for them for like being tight and having each other's backs like that.
Why don't we like them?
Because they're the bad guys of the movie.
No, her editor's the bad guy.
They blew
Honestly,
the whole bet thing.
Andy's the bad guy. She's mean to him and it's weird. She's too crazy.
They blew the whole bet thing when they told Thayer and what's his face, like, oh, Andy knows about the bet, blah, blah, blah. Like they did that on purpose to screw Ben over.
Her talking in the movie theater?
Oh, that was...
And him getting punched out for it?
So great.
He was being so nice about that.
He really was.
Oh.
But he couldn't just not say, like, he couldn't say something because then she leaves.
And that's the thing.
Because it's so soon in the relationship to say something.
To equate him being too nice, but he started it for the wrong reasons, with her being an insane person for 10 straight days is like, no, that's worse for her. Worse. Him, okay, not perfect. Okay, I did. It was initially because of this, but I fell in love with you on those first the times that you were normal. That's so easily explainable.
I mean, I'm not
like,
saying
well,
she's worse than him, but I'm saying they are not, like, they're both, but I said they gave each other, like.
She brought in a dog to purposely pee on his $3,000 pool table at work and $800 poker table.
But you'd watch it again. Maybe.
If Rachel wanted me to, yeah.
I do think this is one of the funnier ones that exist.
I enjoy it. I'll watch it again someday.
I think Kate Hudson
You've seen it
does
dozens
have,
of times. You're going to have to.
She does have a fun physical comedy in this movie that is just good for her.
Folks, we would love to hear your thoughts on the 2003 finals between the Knicks and Kings.
Okay, so that does it for How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. If you had a good time hanging out with us, head down to the show notes and check out our link tree. It's got all the places you can listen, follow, and keep up on the show, and send us a voicemail. Be sure to like and subscribe and like and subscribe and like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. That's what I meant to say. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.